All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be doing some work today on some tabletop stuff. I'm excited about the fact that we are here to party, to get some nice work done here on the first day of the new year. I'm looking forward to seeing where we go. We got a couple of things to bang out. I was working on the Exactor, which is a different class than what we will be looking at today. Uh, I was able to implement all of the stuff for its first level, and its second level stuff is pending another work session on it. Maybe later today, we'll see. But it's somewhat tedious work. It's not something that is super interesting to do on stream. I figure we'll go ahead and take a look at some stuff here. So I do have the ADS session pulled up here. We're going to be taking a look at the Star Spawn race, which is the first up. Oh, and yes, we do have the coffee page rebranded. So Pronago Tabletop on coffee. Cool stuff. Elucidates some of the things that we offer. Also, Cosmonarchy Adventure has been put up as a session. And you have 5 slots left. So if you want in on it, that's where you go. All right. I think that's probably most of the shilling that I'll be doing. So, let's take a look. So this is a pretty straightforward one. Just a race entry. The mysterious and nomadic Starspawn are the original children of the Starfather, who had long left Asindasor to travel the astral sea in search of other worlds upon which to proliferate. Now returned to Asindasor, one of the original worlds sealed by the Starfather, Starspawn seek to understand how history has changed it, and once again make their mark upon its history. So we are going to take a look at this and how we might be able to adjust this. Take a look at the rest of this as well. There's some interesting aspects to this write-up. Oh shoot, it's Find My Gantrathor. What's up? 3 Crow. Rick did the write-up for this. Well, Happy New Year to you and your mother. Jeez. Hopefully she's able to rectify that relatively quick. She's like, I didn't think I'd make it to 2026. What do I do now? I'm here in a new year. It's dark and scary. Yeah, but it's also epic. I can never remember if traveled is 2 L's or 1 L. That's why it's confusing. People use it in different ways. Okay, just adjusting the verbiage and wording and stuff. Trying to leave some doubt, weave some idea of like, well, we don't know if these are actually descended. That's maybe what they claim. Maybe not all of them claim that, leaving it up to interpretation there. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Physiologically, I'm wondering. What we might be able to find here. Oh yeah, something like this. I don't know how you'd be able to find more stuff like this, but also the proportions are a little wild, but I like that. I think that's our guy right there. Immune to the frightened condition. I don't even know if we have that as an option. Condition immunity. Today I learned. Brain jelly. Interesting. Okay. Pretty good. All right. Just grabbing stuff for the images, of course. I think that it's really good that you can still project your voice as this race. it's one of those things that in my opinion, you really need that for general party cohesion and discussions, right? You're not going to be able to get away with just only communicating privately. Like, come on now. So that makes sense. Oh no, this is a star spawn race. He sent this in at the same time as he made the adherent class. Honestly, I'm not really entirely sure. Oh, this is the hold on. I found this online. I think that's pretty neat. Now, this might be like a true form, and they might just adapt their form to whatever. I like this. This is pretty good. This is, proportionally, I'd make the head smaller, but I searched for jellyfish alien, and I found that. I was looking for something not quite like that alien race in Mass Effect. Yeah, the Hanar. Not quite like this, but something like that. But that could be, again, that could be like a true form. Anyway, I wouldn't take this as a strong indicator of how any Starspawn character would have to look. I feel like it's really hard to draw an example of what they can look like or should look like or whatever, because surely they would, if their journey has been so timeless, they'd decide I want to look like that and then do that. You know what I mean? Like that's if they're all about creation, shifting their forms or whatever. So. IMO, anyway. I don't think you'd be able to pigeonhole them into one particular look. I also don't think there's too much of a reason to I don't think there's too much of a reason to try and find a perfect image match anyway when I'm still in the stage of just like selecting stuff. So. I kind of like the idea of a really wide disc head the more I think about it, because for the like imagining an appearance of the Starfather, I mean part of the reason why part of the allure of such a concept is it's so out there, it's so different, it's so ethereal. What are you really going to do, like you can't compare it to anything that we have. We wouldn't be able to understand its true form anyway. This is not the star spawn, this is the star father I'm talking about. But I like conceptually, really flat, wide disc head is like I must, store all of the information of the universe within this mind. So it wouldn't have to be flat particularly, but disc shaped kind of makes sense for that. There's something there. There's something. Yeah. Another word I can't remember. Do you need the E from unmistake? No, you do not. Okay. That's what I... What I also really like about the idea of the star spawn physiology being different is that it lets me, in theory, have some sort of mechanism by which you would track the previous forms that you had. I almost wonder if, like, you would enter into a state of significant shape change upon taking damage. That would be kind of interesting. Like, your form resets a little bit back to what it was before if you take damage or something, and as you heal, it comes back into the form that you've accustomed to, you know? That'd be kind of interesting. I don't think I'm going to find much here, but... Besides a whole lot of AI art, I guess. Oh, interesting. Here's your fucking star spawn right there, dude. Kind of interesting graphic. Interesting image. Oh, I like this image as well. I don't know if there's something very cosmic and fitting about that as well. Although again, that's very human centric, but that's fine. I think that's pretty neat. It's not like perfect formatting or whatever, but I'll go ahead and post this in the revenue. All right. While we wait for Three Crows approval, thumbs up on that, we'll start to take a look at the adherent. So far as I understand, the adherent's purpose is to be a versatile martial class with psionic flavoring. But it could also I've defined it as a hybrid class for now in the document, but I don't actually know if that's accurate or not. Let's take a look. Let's really download it. Adherents are living proof that power does not require incantation, patron, or prayer, only conviction. Through relentless discipline, they harden thought into armor, sharpen intent into blades, and compress raw psionic force into precise, devastating expression. Some channel this resolve into stalwart guardianship, standing immovable behind shields of will. Others refine their minds into conduits of crackling psionic energy, bending force and lightning to calculated ends. And a rare few reject all doctrine entirely, vanishing into silence until the moment their will strikes with surgical finality. Whatever their path, adherents are bound by a singular truth. So long as their mind remains unbroken, neither steel nor spell can truly touch them. Interesting. So, let's see here. So you have 4 psi until 5th and 6th level, where you have 6 psi. I don't know. I wonder why people do that. I never did quite grok why it's like spell slots are like that too, where they're just like a certain amount. Oh, it's double prof bones. Okay. We're probably going to shift this to like +3 at 3rd level. And then +4 at 5th level. So, we'll see. As an adherent, you gain the following class features. Hit dice. Varies by adherence discipline. Maximum of your hit die plus your comm modifier. Okay, yeah. Proficiencies also varies in terms of armor. You have psionic weapons. Interesting. Okay, you probably invent those then. And Constitution and Wisdom are your saving throws. Acrobatics, Arcana, Athletics, Insight, Intimidation, Perception, Stealth, and Survival. That sounds about right. Sleight of Hand is something that I would maybe think about, but we'll see. Perhaps instead of Intimidation. Don't want to encourage Shambler too much, you know. Traveler's Cloak, light, medium, or heavy armor, depending on the proficiencies provided to you by your discipline. And you don't start out with a weapon, which is deliberate, I'm sure. Beginning at first level, your psionic prowess manifests in your ability to perform powerful psionic acts, represented by your pool of psi energy. Your maximum psi equals twice your prof bonus. You regain all expended psi when you complete a short or long rest. In addition, if you currently have fewer than your maximum psi available to you and you haven't performed a psionic act on your previous turn, you regain 1 psi at the beginning of your turn. Okay. The psionic acts available to you are determined by your adherents' discipline. You may discover psionic acts through mentorship from other adherents, records left behind by adherents of the past, or through your own innovation at the DM's discretion. You know the following psionic acts regardless of your discipline. Mage Hand cantrip for 1 psi, message for 1 psi. Okay, interesting. Also, at first level, your psionic discipline manifests as a reactive mental barrier. Temp HP equal to half your max HP. Temporary HP can't be added to or replaced. Oh, okay. It's like its own shield barrier, shield bar. Then very proton. So the shield bar is interesting because it immediately, like, if you... These are basically... How do you reset it? Let's see. You regain temp HP. So this should probably be referred to as like an extra bar. It's just going to use temp HP mechanistically. But this means that you can still give this class temp HP with something. I can't think of any temp HP giving things off the dome. You can still give this class temp HP. It would probably be in front of its shields. So. Prof bonus adherent level is what you regain. So this would be 3 at level 1. This motherfucker really did just make flash shielding. I can't believe it. I can believe it. Let's pop this down. Weapons online. So let's think about how we would transcribe this one. Oh, it does say it can't be added to or replaced. So I would say I'm just gonna straight up call them shield points, boys. I think I used this in another other art somewhere. Sure, that looks acceptable. Is that what this is supposed to be? Austere command? I don't even know what that is. Ah, yeah. I used MTG art for one of the exactor things when I was implementing that earlier. I was thinking of just straight up calling it flash shields, honestly. I wasn't sure. All right. I guess this is the D&D art for the Scion or something like that. I'm gonna kind of close up on that because the blade would be in the view otherwise, right? Hmm. My file explorer was broken. That never happens. The psionic act cooldown is obviously the energy recharge cooldown. My brother just asked, "What's a reclaimer?" Oh boy. Oh, but don't tell him. Let him find out in session play. That shit's good. Okay, interesting. Oh, it should be my whole desktop. Oh, I guess it isn't. Interesting. No, it definitely should be. Yeah, it is. I don't know why my. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let me grab a Discord timestamp. I was looking at. There was a point where I was. I was checking Discord chat at one point, so that might have been what was happening there. I feel like looking at the psionic acts thing and the psi and the shields. It's actually like if you didn't know about Protoss, and specifically if you didn't really know about Cosmonarchy Protoss, you probably wouldn't really make an overt connection, which is pretty good. I like that. That's pretty good. I think the shield regeneration is good. Like I only adjusted the wording so that it was clear that shield points are damaged before temp HP, which is a way to make it like temp HP on an adherent won't come from the adherent itself. It'll come from another class that's helping the adherent out. And when that happens, it's like an oh shit moment because your shields are broken, you know? So it's like, I got to help you ASAP, you know what I mean? So it's like an oh shit thing. So that's like a slight mechanistic adjustment that I made, but I don't think it matters too much. I just realized this did make me think, though, that when you guys face Protoss in the Cosmonarchy tabletop, you're going to have to get through shields, and then armor, and then HP. You know what I mean? Them motherfuckers going to be tanky. Yeah, temp HP will be good for flash shielding regeneration, for sure. Yeah, that's true. That's a proto. Okay. So, this is sort of subclass territory, I think. But it obviously has a very different look. Oh man, how am I going to program this into Foundry? With different hit dice? I don't think that's a... 3Crow, do you know if there's any classes in 5th edition as written where your hit dice depend on a choice that you make? Is that a new thing? I'm fine with it. I'm just thinking mechanistically, how will I implement? Okay. Don't know one. Yeah. Maybe what I would do is, let's take a look. It's D4, D8, or D6. So maybe I would default it to D8, but I would... Yeah, maybe that's what I'll end up doing. Default to D8. Change the hit dice. What, can I change the hit dice? I don't even know. Maybe you can choose it. Let's make a class and find out. Adherent. No, I don't want to do that. What the fuck? The back button on my mouse. I didn't think that would happen. Okay, so... All right, we're just going to quickly pop this description in as is, and I'll tweak it afterward. So I set it to hit point die D8. Ah, okay. So this is the thing, right? So because of that, I don't even know how I would describe the casting part of it. Let me go and read some more about the different... One thing I did think about is maybe this will end up being one of those things that's technically implemented as different classes for each discipline, because they all change hit dice, and they might also change, like... I just signify cowardice. Beautiful. Yeah, I feel like this might be best implemented as a separate class for each discipline. But I'm not entirely sure yet. Let's read the Cantavis real quick. I'll skip over the Battlemaster. We have spell save DC on everybody, so I think everybody does a little bit of casting, right? Psionic Storm! Ah, Chain Lightning. I wonder if, in addition to the critical hit rule, if you also can spend one psi to bounce. Although you're spending one psi point to bounce, like, half the damage. One target. It's probably not that useful, but it might come out. It might come into in handy when, you know somebody's low or whatever. push this to one side here, and we'll make some more. Make another feature. So this is salt. Oh, wait, I forgot I have to paste it to Notepad first. I guess we'll reword it as... Okay, very cool, in my opinion. IMO. So 18 seconds is 3 turns. $2d8 plus int mod lightning damage. So it's 3 size, so that's why it's so powerful. Bonus action and 1 additional side to move the storm. That's pretty good. Whoa! Resistance to non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. But only for your temp HP. Yeah, well, you only have half of D4. Well, you only have 4 plus con mod divided by 2 rounded down shields. So I guess that makes sense. Because your character's just walking around ready to just die to the first attack. So yeah, that computes. That's a pretty squishy class right there. Holy moly! All right, well, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick, and when I come back, we'll be plugging in, making more of these features. I think I'll probably do. I'll basically do the features for all of the disciplines level 1s. And I think at level 2 you get something else, right? Second level for battle stance and glory. Yeah, so I do the level 2 features, and then I do the level 1s for all the different disciplines. And then we'll figure out how we're going to implement the classes, because I'm pretty sure the classes are going to have to be done in... I think the classes are going to have to be implemented, like the classes are going to have to be implemented as different classes. I don't think there's an easy way to do it any other way. In a way that's like elegant for the player to select. So even though it's a bit messy because you're going to see adherent 3 different times in the list, of course it'll tell you adherent Kabbalist, adherent what do you call it? Cantavis, adherent Battlemaster. You're going to see all of those. So that's whatever. We'll work on that later. I don't know if that's something that Foundry will ever let us implement elegantly, for a varying hit dice or whatever. I didn't even think about that for the Awoken, honestly. Anyway, I'll be right back. All right. So I was in the midst of discussing certain things. I feel like one of the major things that I wanted to do is I was thinking that when you are the Cantavis as part of the idolatry feature, it should probably I'm going to be even more forgiving, and I'm going to say that when we grab this, any non-magical damage that exceeds your shield point total are reduced to 0. So basically, you can't be you can't have over damage. You can't have damage that goes over. That's my opinion, anyway. I don't know what 3-crit thinks of that, but he'll tell me at some point. Yeah, it's cool. It basically guarantees that non-magical damage, like even a great axe or a great club being brought down on you for like it is kind of absurd in a way because it's basically saying, you know, ogre comes up and tries to thwack you with its 18 damage bludgeoning attack and you only have like 4 points of shields and you still live. Like you don't even take hull damage, so to speak. But I just think that it's a nifty way to have that be. Maybe it could be a reaction. You could use a reaction to spend psi. I guess our reaction should have a capital R. When your shield points are reduced to 0, you can spend your reaction to and maybe this way it doesn't have to be non-magical. It could be at any point, right? Almost like a localized counter spell of 4 damage. I don't know. There's something like that. That's pretty neat, I think. So. That way it's like... say, when an attack reduces your shield points to 0. There you go. I like that. It's like a shield break thing or whatever. Imagining a star spawn adherent that uses the reaction to simultaneously negate damage and change its, hand to now hold a mace or something like that, Pretty wild. You don't really have what is your spell save DC? It's an int mod, but it's strength mod for that. Okay, yeah. So that's definitely going to have to be its own class. So we're going to call this one Adherent Kabbalist. We will be D4, Fullcaster, Intelligence, and I don't think it's prep formula. We don't need that. That's whatever. And primary ability, let's see, saving throws. Where do we have saving throws? Con and wisdom. Though I guess int would be really important for this class too, so I don't know. That's fine though. Reshaping the energy of the shield dissipation to neutralize the... Yeah, that's... use to neutralize the remaining force. Yeah, it's using your psi, right? So... invoking your psi to give them last ditch strength that neutralizes it. I think that's pretty neat. Okay, so we've got Idolatry, Psi Storm, and Psi Assault. Let's see if we can... Oh shit, it's Psi Assault! Is it, though? That guy's... I always prefer, like, background art if we can. Sure, this... If I focus on this part of it, that could be Psi Assault. Oop. Okay. Cantavis, 1 Psi Assault. Not sure what this could be, if anything. I guess it could be Idolatry. But doesn't really look like it. I'll leave that open for later. Maybe this is Idolatry. Even though it doesn't show something being attacked. Also, it's always funny when AI tries to draw symbols. I don't know what the fuck that is. I think I'm just going to go ahead and not include the random Star of David. That's fine, right? Or maybe this is an Idolatry. Maybe this is our adherent Kabbalist base. Maybe that's what that is. It's just the art of the Kabbalist. I like the this art actually could be the Kabbalist, to be honest. Also, I said Kabbalist again when I meant Cantavis, but that's fine. I feel like there's something very interesting about that. Center it a little bit better. I keep doing that. I even did it in here. Right, we can delete that. Cantavis. And this guy can be our battle master, right? I think. Or this could be... Maybe this is... Hold on. Look at it. This is Psi Assault. Then we have... This might not be Cantavis based then. I don't actually know. I guess this could actually be the Idolatry, and this would be the Cantavis. That guy looks like a Cantavis if a Cantavis wasn't a Protoss, you know what I mean? Yeah, I do. Apparently, that's what my brain is telling me. See if we can find lightning magic. It's like more MTG art. That'll help. Oh, why is it so tiny? Do we have bigger MTG art? Oh, that's why. It's Instagram trying to do stupid shit. Let's see here. You know what is great is we don't care about that because we can take our screenshot and then we can paste it and we can do that. Beautiful. All right. So we have... I did Kabbalist again. God. Why does that keep happening? I'm more worried about what it might mean for Cosmonarchy, guys. But what if I start adding Psystorm to the Kabbalist by mistake? You know what I mean? That would be bad. All right. I don't know if we can get away with an icon that small, but we're about to find out. Yeah, looks fine, I guess. All right. So all these exist. That's fine. We'll work on like graphical implementation or whatever later. That's not something that's super important right now. So we have okay, we have adherent. We have everything for the Cantavis level 1, and we have the shields and the psionic acts. And the main changes we made to the Cantavis was we improved idolatry, made it more powerful, and we also adjusted Psi Assault so that you can spend a Psi point to make the energy jump manually instead of it being just a crit. And also, if you crit, you don't need to spend the point. It just happens automatically, which is cool. And then provoking an opportunity attack. This thing is that I made it so that Psi Assault, when used as an opportunity attack, doesn't have disadvantage on it, which I think is neat. 3rd level, you gain the following battle stances. Oh, interesting. You always regain shields up. That's pretty neat. Duration of your psionic storm increases to 1 minute. Oh, interesting. So it becomes more powerful and flexible, but it ends early if your shield points are depleted. That's neat. Yeah, the battle stances thing is like that's all the way back up here, 2nd level. Use a bonus action to activate one, and it lasts until you lose your shields or you choose a different one. I noticed that your initiative one feels like it doesn't really compute in the moment because unless that edits your existing initiative, you would just want to have this like enabled at all times by default or something, right? I'm not really entirely sure about that one. I do like the recover one psi when you you reduce an enemy to 0 hit points, so that's pretty good. The glory option or feature. Okay, good. Alright, so that's taken care of, and then we were doing battle stances as well. So let's take a look at that. So if you gain 5 feet of walking speed, courtesy of the mobility battle stance. Well, my only thought is obviously you don't need to spend. This is a bonus action, but so you don't need to spend. You don't need to spend your psi to activate this, but it might still be wise to effectively increase the right bonus action dash. The only trouble there is that you would spend the bonus action. I guess you'd have to activate dash when you activate the mobility thing as well. I think bonus action dash isn't necessary. Mobility just giving you 10 extra feet of walking speed is probably pretty good, but maybe I'll make it so that maybe I'll make it 5 times your prof bonus, so it's 10 in the early levels, and it becomes like 15 and then 20. One thing that could I don't know if you already have I skipped over the stuff here. Let's see. Imperious March. One thing I was thinking about is I don't know. Oh, you know what? Who probably has it is the Kabbalist. Yes, silent strides. Oh, okay. Silent strides doesn't have the blink. Oh, yeah. You can spend your movement to teleport. Tyranny! Holy shit. I gotta read that later. Alright. Yeah. Shroudwalker. I ended up finding it. First level, you may manifest a psionic weapon in an empty hand as a free action. Force damage. Cannot be disarmed, vanishes if it's more than 30 feet from you, and use your strength modifier. Psionic Greatsword, you manifest a two-handed psionic blade. Its damage is 1d12. On short swords, you manifest 2 psionic blades, 1 in each hand. 1d6. Attack with the second sword is a bonus action. Okay, alright. While you have shields up, temporary hit points, your armor class is increased by your prof bonus, right? And then Battle Frenzy. When you take the attack action on your turn, you may spend 3 psi to make an additional attack with advantage. Third level, you gain the following battle stance. 1 temporary, so 1 shield for every 3 points of damage dealt. Ah, nice. That's Amaranth right there. Yeah, you can be adherent or you can be zealot. Yeah, the great sword and the short swords. Yeah, that wasn't lost on me. The cowardice one is good. When your shield's up, hit points are depleted. You may expend all remaining psi in your pool as a reaction to unleash a psionic shockwave. Yeah, that's pretty baller. Temperance just lets you restore shields. That's pretty good. Fifth level, when you take the Psi Assault action on your turn, you may make an additional Psi Assault targeting the same creature. Yeah, okay, that's extra attack, basically. And then Psionic Act. 2d10 from 2d8. 3d8 from 2d8, is that right? Yeah. Hallucination. Choose a creature within 60 feet of you that you can see. While the creature is affected, it perceives attacks against it as being joined by phantom doubles. Once per turn, on yours or an ally's turn, when you or an allied creature deal damage to the hallucinating creature, it takes 5 additional psychic damage. Only once per turn? Thinking of at 6th level, 5 psychic probably isn't that much. Maybe it would instead scale with the attack, so it would be like half of damage dealt, right? Interesting. All right, let's take a look at the Kabbalist for real. So your D6, light and medium armor, dexterity, spellcasting ability, which makes sense. First level, you may manifest a warp blade in an empty hand as a free action. The weapon counts as a psionic weapon. Same rules before. You use strength or dex instead of just strength. Psionic longsword. Its damage is 1d10. That it was OP. Half damage as many times as it gets attacked during the duration. Well, this one is only once per turn, and it's 5, so that feels like too far the other way, right? Like, I think it could be half damage once per turn, or it could be 5 every time it takes damage, just a flat amount. Or it could be 1d8 or 1d10 psychic damage. It could be 1d8 psychic damage, where 5 is actually a generous average. It could be 1d8 psychic every time it takes damage on that turn. I think that could also work. Like, there's a couple of different ways to make it work, in my opinion. But at 6th level, you're definitely going to want to beef it up. But that's pretty easy to do. Okay. While you possess shield points, you may become invisible as a bonus action on your turn. Ends when you take the attack action. If you end the invisibility early as a bonus action, or if the shield points become depleted. If you exited Steady Shroud on your turn, you can't activate it again until the beginning of your next turn. While invisible from Steady Shroud, your movements produce no sound and you don't provoke attacks of opportunity. Once per turn, when you break Steady Shroud as a result of taking the attack action with your Warp Blade, the damage die for your Warp Blade increases by 2d10 for that attack. So increases by means that you're doing 3d10 total damage, which is kind of wild. Because that's an average of 15 damage, which would down most enemies in one blow. Did you mean to say that this increases to 2d10 as opposed to by 2d10? This is basically like walking around one-shotting like most guards or whatever. Or one-shotting, like, think of it like player characters. Especially since it's only one attack. It's not like you have to roll a different roll to hit 3 different times, right? It's one attack, which makes sense thematically. ChatGPT put all of the OP into this, took it all out of the Cantavis and put it into the Kabbalist. You have low HP, and as soon as you make one good hit, you're going to get ganged on by everyone nearby before you can hide again. Well, is that true? Let's see. You can't activate Steady Shroud again. Okay, I see what you're saying. The suppression one's pretty good. Stealth check. For every 5 feet of movement spent this way, the teleport is there. I would say I would say keeping mobility as a core tenet of silent strides. One thing that we could do is we could make it so that the Kabbalist adherent gains mobility when breaking the steady shroud with an attack. So also it says once per turn when you break steady shroud, but you can't regain it until the beginning of your next turn. So I think that once per turn thing is superfluous. I can't imagine a case where you can actually cycle between them multiple times, unless there's like a thing later. Let's see. Also, this is spending 4 psi to do 2 temp HP, which I recall shields up is always half max HP. So I think if anything, this 4th level one for the Kabbalist, or is it the 3rd? Yeah, it's the 4 psi one. This should probably be inverted where it's 2 times 1 shield point, because you only have 3 plus, well, 6 plus con. So say you have like 7. Yeah, it's still 3. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Well, I think it's fine for us to know that that's actually just not allowed, right? All right, let's start the adherent Kabbalist one. I think I'll delete that for here because there. That's a good like short description. I wish I could do those in here because then our chat cards wouldn't be enormous. So this is where we're gonna get a little funky, I think. So we were talking about let me go back and read something about shields up. Okay, there's a listed maximum provided by Shields Up, so that's what I was wondering. But I was going to say maybe we could give some sort of shield increase on that, but I think it's probably like the fear is getting focused down immediately, which makes sense. But also then there's so I think basically you guarantee can move 2 more squares after doing that. If you kill them, you can move 4 more squares. So that should help like the in and out aspect of it. That's my hope anyway. Open to feedback on that. Alternatively, we could make it so that it's an automatic critical, but I don't know if that's as interesting. hmm. Hmm. I wonder who this could be. Yeah, I think Executioner needs a little bit of a boost. I was thinking the basically like you drain your shields, you probably only have by 3rd level you might have 6. So then you only get 3 extra damage, but you're spending 4 psi. That feels like there's a missing link there. Oops. Cloaking, is that even a term? It's just going to look fantasy cloaks, right? So fantasy invisibility. Oops, I just called it invisibility. That's not right. Noob. Yeah, I saw that Harry Potter AI art, and I wasn't really sure what was going on there. Okay, so we've got got a lot of stuff done. I think the silent strides thing for extra movement is pretty good. Hopefully, it helps with perceived mortality. And I think our changes to the battles stances were pretty good as well. Let's take a look here. I think I'm getting a pretty good understanding of what we're looking at here. My music might be a little bit low. This is obviously a rogue, you can tell. That's long enough that it might not be a dagger. It is, but maybe we can still make that happen. At least it actually looks psionic, sort of. It's a little overwrought, but I feel like I would want a big meteor profile, though. This guy's a little dark. What the fuck? Watch out, it's Edge Man. This guy's also Edge Man. And Mongo AI for sure. Oh, look. Gee, I wonder what that's from. Could never guess. Oh, that's an AI image. I don't have as many qualms with using AI images that have already been made, since they already spent the resources. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little extra, a little edgy, a little too epic looking. That's all right. Maybe this guy can be our base. I don't know what this would be then, but this is also AI, but it's smaller. It's lower resolution, so it's easier. Maybe we'll call this one the Manifest Armaments. Over. Yes, Rogues and Edge together are classic. It's like Warlocks. Same vibe. Guess we'll use this for battle stances. This I don't know. We could probably... Honestly, what if we just did this, though? This is like a class symbol or something. I don't know. Cowardly iron. Okay. All right. We're still missing a few features transferred over. This one's pretty simple. I think these are the last two that we were going to port over for the first level stuff, though. Okay. So we were going to add Curious March. The Adherent Battlemaster. And then we were going to go ahead and add another feature, which is Battle Frenzy. Motherfucking Protoss class. How weird and surreal is it? Is it at all weird and surreal, 3Crow, that you made a Protoss class, and then in between that and me implementing it, / processing your bounty or your donor perk, we were actually doing Chaos Monarchy tabletop? That's kind of wild, isn't it? I know, yeah. There's Protoss involved. Race of the day is Protoss. Maybe I'll add more Protoss buffs to the list after this. This looks like Eldar, but only Shambler will recognize it. It's fine. Okay. All right, so we do need to do some more Foundry implementation. Let me take another quick look at the actual class stuff. So I like the Greatsword and Short Swords. I think that's good. We talked about the temp. So while the shields are there, your AC increases, which is exactly like the Zealot passive. Makes sense. And then you've got Battle Frenzy to do an additional attack with advantage. I know that you're a D8, so like this is like Bruiser level, with the understanding that you have access to the shields. Um, let's see. I gotta show. I feel like the so the great sword dealing 1d12, right? Is like that makes sense. It's a great sword. The short swords dealing 1d6 also makes sense, though you do have a chance to miss the second attack. But you know, it's like, oh, I might have missed my greatsword attack too. I'm wondering if we move into a direction where we don't have to hit chance, and we instead have it just be you always hit. It's just a question of your damage. Then the short swords would probably be D4 instead of D6, so their absolute damage potential is lower. But like then Battle Frenzy would let you do 2 extra attacks instead of 1 if you had the short swords, and then they would probably have some other thing that they would do, so that it's not just always better to do the great sword. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud. There's probably things that we can do to make this class have even more cool stuff around it. Like if we look at the later stuff, obviously the shield steel is definitely a big one. It doesn't have any tools to like speed itself up, which is actually in keeping with Protoss stuff. Like they rely on other stuff than the Zealots. And then you make an attack of opportunity, spend 1 side to get advantage on the attack if it was success. Oh yeah, that's the cowardice. 5th level is extra attack, and 6th level is the Martyrous Tempest that we saw. So I'm thinking that sprinkling in a few extra things here and there would probably be pretty good. So I guess we'll see. We'll see what else I come up with. Hallucination. We were talking about changing hallucination damage to be more powerful. Obviously made a lot of changes to stuff down here. Let's see here. I didn't actually finish reading the Kabbalist, funnily enough, but I did implement everything at level through levels 1 and 2. I implemented all that stuff into Foundry, so that part is taken care of. And then Shroudwalker. Shroud is active. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, the teleportation is definitely cool. Spend your movement to teleport instead of walking at 3rd level. I like that. And then the stealth check roll will probably... I feel like we could also combine with this something that, like, when you break your steady shroud, maybe you can frighten enemies or something. I think that would be pretty neat. Some kind of AoE debuff upon your break, your shroud break. And then we have Psionic Act. The Executioner, we talked about how it would need to be buffed. You're depleting your shield points. Interesting, yeah. And then you get extra attack. Probably would change that, we'll see. Something more dexterous. I mean, extra attack seems very dexterous because it's like a lot of extra movement, right? But thinking about that. At 6th level, when you reduce a creature to 0 hit points as a result of the damage dealt by your silent strides, the base damage die for your warp blade increases by 1d10 for 1 minute. If tyranny is triggered again while you're already benefiting from its effects, the damage die increases by an additional d10 and the duration is refreshed. Oh, design notes with invisible condition. Impossible to see without the aid of magic or special sense. Heavily obscured. Attack rolls against the creature have disadvantage, and the creature's attack rolls have advantage. Oh, interesting. Okay. So by default, you get advantage from attacking while invisible. This makes it really good for the surprise attack rogue stuff. Sneak attack. Your sneak attack rogue stuff. There's a lot of synergy with that, which makes sense. Well, it can't make sense because this is a different class. For some reason, I was like, adherent was a race in my head or something. All right. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of cool ideas in here. I feel like we could add even more stuff, of course. I always do that. But we've started on the Cantavus entry in-game, and I'll flesh this out so that there's like a blurb about each class, each version You know what I mean? Um, the only reason why they're separate classes is just purely a technical limitation. This is not something that I foresee us having to deal with frequently um, in the future when we're doing class conversions and stuff. It would be easier to if we had like more like if I had more access to like the Foundry internals in an easy way, then I'd probably futz about with making variable hit dice and stuff. But that's something that is beyond my capabilities right now. I'm sure it's technically possible. I think you get some limited source access to a bunch of things. So. Cool. All right. Well, we definitely have some more stuff we can do and we can tweak and we can keep doing as time goes on. Alexander can't believe that Protoss are going to get added as a race. Yeah, it won't be called Protoss, but it's not just going to be Protoss. I was thinking actually in my Escozy map that I made for Mapcrap. Spoiler, it's an Escozy map. They refer to the Zerg as Blight, the Protoss as Solar, and the Terrans as Earthborn. And so I like that they speak in a different. They don't use the same terminology that the other races do, which kind of signals their foreignness. Yeah, Sunspawn is what the Zerg call the Protoss, which is pretty interesting. And anyway, like the Zerg also feel foreign because of that, and so I like that the Escozy do that. There's a lot of like subtlety, or I made a lot of decisions about the script writing very deliberately, and it did take a lot of like mental energy to make the decisions that I ended up making. And at the same time, if I could cook a little bit longer, I probably would have made some other details. I definitely would have made the script longer in terms of like having more dialogue events. That's for sure. All right, boys. It is what, 5:30 here. Do I brave the elements to go do laundry? I think I probably have to. I'll take a break and take a nice walk and get my exercise in. Probably get some food from the store. I got to go pick up yogurt and stuff. So I'm going to be doing a bunch of physical activity, and then when I return from my travails, I will be streaming the Cosmonarchy campaign that 3Crow made, since he was kind enough to. Actually, he hasn't done this yet, but he mentioned that he'd be bountying a campaign playthrough stream, and motherfucker made a whole campaign for Mapcrap. Normally, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to win Mapcrap by virtue of me participating. Well, as epic as it is to have an Escozy level, I actually don't know if I can compete with a whole ass campaign. I don't actually remember if the rules are like he only judges one submission. We'll see. I have a feeling people are going to be more appreciative of having a whole ass campaign to play. Like, that's pretty good stuff. So, I'll take second place this time. Tips my hat to 3Crow, And that's I haven't even looked at anybody else's submission. So I might not be able to say that with too much confidence. You know what I mean? Anyway, glad to see that a lot of people submitted this time around. We had Cannoli, Dog Lived, Lord Dragon, Executor, 3Crow, myself, and Shambler. I think those were the 7 people who. I'm pretty sure those were the 7 people who participated. That's pretty awesome. Last time it was just myself and Shambler. The time before that, I think Biddy B did Anchor Command. That was how far back ago that was. I can find out real quick. We had Sanguis Alteris from Shambler, Trenches 6 from 3Crow, Anchor Command from Biddy B, and myself. I did Anad's Greatsword. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that we got all those people. I plan another Mapcrap in February. If Veek doesn't want to take over running it, then I'll do it myself. But I slated one for February, so looking forward to that. Find my Gantrathor. Yeah, that's right. You found him, all right. No wonder you asked for that emote. All right. I'm happy to report that we are good to go and that everything is epic. So GG's. We'll be back for some more silly stuff. We went for almost 2.5 hours, and the time flew by, honestly. Excited to process some more of this and figure out the Foundry implementation and stuff and reflect the document so that it's on there as well. This is a rare time where I implemented the class in Foundry before putting it on the document. Honestly, that might be the better way to do it, because then at least people can make character sheets out of it immediately if they want to, for whatever reason. But yeah, we did the Starspawn race conversion, which we're apparently going to have to redo at some point later because of the misunderstanding that went down there. And then there's the adherent class conversion, which we have completed. So I'm liking that. GG boys, I'll be back in a couple hours to play a pro.